In today's Brother ScanNCut Tips and Tricks tutorial, you're going to learn how to create tags using your Brother ScanNCut SDX125. You can use the tags as I am here for identifying color swatches. You can use the tags for GIFs, bookmarks, you name it. You can do what I'm showing you using other shapes as well, because I'm going to be teaching you skills that can be applied to many other shapes where you make the most of your 12 by 12 cardstock. So let's get started. But what I did is I cut these ahead of time because it takes 4 minutes to cut, but I just wanted to leave this on the mat, show you that, and then the rest of the tutorial I'll show you the settings. So in this, what I've done is I use painter's tape because I've been cutting a lot of this cardstock, right? So I use the painter's tape to help hold my 12 by 12 sheet on. And so I just want to show you, hi Gina, I just want to show you how many you can fit on here and how great this is, that when you use 12 by 12 cardstock, the ScanNCut, when you use the machine, the settings I'm going to teach you are directly on the machine. When you use the machine, it allows you, with a small pattern interval, meaning a small space between objects, it allows you to put a lot on one mat and cut a lot out at once. Okay, so I'm just going to count them. I did take notes, but let me just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 21. Okay, there's 21 of these that cut out. So I'll just leave that on there. We'll get back to that. We'll peel them off in a minute. So we're not actually going to cut them because it takes 4 minutes, but I will show you how I did it from start to finish. So you can go ahead and do this with whatever project you have in mind for whatever you're working on. Okay, so under here somewhere is my stylus. There we go. And I've been cutting these out. This is my big project I'm working on right now. So we're going to start at the beginning. I'm going to teach you how to get these to fit on the mat, what size to make these exactly, how come I moved them away from that side. You see how they're closer to that side of the mat, how to get the hole into your tag, okay, how to align the hole so that it's in the center of your tag, how to use the AutoLayout to make sure that the ScanNCut makes these perfectly equidistant all around your mat, okay, and many other tips and tricks along the way. So I'm doing this live, you know, I'm very daring here. I don't usually do my ScanNCut tutorials live, but I thought this one would be fun because it's some new ink colors, and I'm excited about the new ink colors, and I will share those. I'm also going to share some recent projects I've created during a couple of my recent unboxings. All right, so lots of you who joined me for this live demonstration. Hello, we already said hello to Gina, and we have Laura, Nancy Jo, Caroline, Susan, Julia, Sharon, and Denise. All right. Okay, so we're going to start at the beginning. I'm getting rid of that. That's saved. We're just going to start at the beginning. Delete all patterns. Don't panic. I'm not deleting all patterns. I actually have that saved. And I'll teach you also how to save and retrieve your file. And of course, at the end, I'm not just going to show you my projects that I'm working here. I'm showing you some other projects that I made earlier and some even fancier tags that I created. At the end of my tutorial, I always show you something new, something different, right, than what this project is. So let's start at the beginning. We're going to we turn on the ScanNCut, and you can use any model of ScanNCut. It doesn't matter. This works in the oldest models. I've used the CM300 for these. I've been making these for about 4 years now, maybe 5 years now. I think at least 4 years. You can use the CM300. You can use the CM350. We're just using a built-in shape, very basic. So you go to the pattern, and then you're going to go to the shapes. That's the first one. Now the shape you want is one that has the flat bottom, but the rounded top. Okay, so that's what you want. But we're going to curve it even more. But that's the kind of shape we're going for. Why do, like if we did this or another shape, we'd have to do some welding and dividing and all that. But no, there's a shape that's already what we want. And it is, I think I just passed it. It's BA-A114. Nope, I didn't pass it. It's 114, so it's down here. Because they're in numerical order. 114. See? BA114. See, I wrote myself a note. Okay, I'll pause there. Not pause, but I'll just let you see that while I say hello. I'm going to point at it if you want to write notes, if you want to follow along. Okay, we left off at, let's see, Denise from South Dakota. And then Pam's asking questions. No, get whatever scan and cut you want. I mean, they're all great. And they really haven't changed much, Pam, between models. Yes, they all have, if you're getting any SDX, you're going to have an auto blade where you don't have to set the blade depth, so that's nice, but really, I like my older ones even better. You can't even get the older ones anymore. It doesn't matter which one you get, really. They all do the same thing right now. There's no game changer. There's nothing that's like, oh, this model's so much better because it does so much more. I don't think there's any game changers in the technology that you would have to get one over the other. Okay, hi, Kathy, Gail, Wilma, Melissa. All right, hello, everybody. Okay, this is the one we want, that shape there. So now we're going to change the dimensions so that we're going to take this, we're going to click this button so that when we change the height and width, they don't stay in proportion, right? So we want to click this button here. When you click this button here, you can change the width and height independently of each other. See? The height, you could change the height without the width changing. And that's what we want because we want to be precise. We want 1.5 in the height. Oops, I just passed it. 1.5. So 1.5 inches high and 3.75 or 3 3/4 inches wide. All right, so here's the tip and trick for you. And the tip and trick I'm going to teach you is about the pattern interval and letting the machine determine how many will fit on a mat. Okay, this is your tip and trick for the day. I already told you 21. We started out at the beginning. We said 21 are going to fit on this mat. Okay, so I want to teach you some things that you can use in any of your projects. I'm going in here to the settings, and I'm going to change the pattern interval to 10 for a moment, just to teach you a concept. We're not actually going to keep it there. We're actually going to keep it on 1, which is the smallest interval. But if you use a really big pattern interval of 10, say, and now we're going to see how many can we fit on the mat. Can we still put our 21? Right? I told you we could fit 21 when I started out this tutorial. See, look, those of you that came late, right? This is the 21 that fit on the mat. But when you change the pattern interval to 10, can you still fit 21 on the mat? Let's click and try and find out. No, you can only put 8 on the mat. Okay, so the wider the space, the fewer you can put on the mat. Okay, so what would that look like? We'll go ahead and do it, and I'll get back and I'll just go back and do that again. So we're going to go ahead and do it to show you. See all those big gaps between the objects? Okay, so we don't want that. We don't want a pattern interval of 10. Okay, so we're going to just start over. I'm going to go faster this time. Do it again, and we're going to make a pattern interval of 5. We're really using a pattern interval of 1. I'm trying to teach you concepts, though. That's the way I like to do my tutorials. I like to teach you how to fish, not just how to follow along with my exact project I just did. I want you to know how I did everything I did. Okay, so now we'll go back and do that same thing again, but we're going to change the pattern interval to 5. So in other words, it's still going to be 1.5 by 3.75, but this time, if we were only to make a pattern interval of 5, okay, that's less space between. You saw all the big gaps when we made a pattern interval of 10, but when we made a pattern interval of 5, that's not as much space. Can we still put 21 on the mat? No, you can only put 12 on the mat. Let's see what that looks like. Oops, we had to change it to 12. Okay, and see what that looks like? So that's that's the concept of pattern interval. And you do need to change your pattern interval if you're making stencils or you want big gaps between objects. And I like to keep a pattern interval bigger because it keeps things from getting caught up on each other, right? They don't bump into each other, and it's really much easier to work with objects when there's farther space apart. So when that's one of your troubleshooting techniques, when you ever have trouble, you can always change your pattern interval. All right, so now let's do what we're actually doing. I'm going to show you how to put 21 on there, but we're going to go back and just put 1. But we'll get there. I just want to show you how I'm getting to the 21. Okay, and did I already pass it? It's 114. 114. There he is. Okay, so we're not actually going to put 21. I'm showing you how to put 21. 1.5 and 3.75. So we're going to now make a pattern interval 1. That's going to be small spaces between objects. So in here, we're going to say way down. That's the default setting, the 1. That means the smallest space possible between objects. Look at this tiny space between objects. Look at that little sliver. And if you don't have good cardstock like Stampin' Up, it's probably not even going to work. If you use cheap cardstock and try to have that small of an interval, it will get caught up on each other. But this is really thick cardstock, so that's why I can get away with a pattern interval of 1. And now can we put 21 on the mat? Well, let's see. Sometimes I like to try to even put more and then let it tell me how many. That's another tip and trick. It tells me how many I can fit. So 21. We already know it was 21, but I'm just showing you. Whenever you're not sure, let it tell you how many. So that's what that looks like. So now you understand the concept of pattern interval, I hope. So why would I not just put 21 on the mat and cut them? Okay, so there's a couple reasons I wouldn't just do it like this. I was showing you how to do it, and I was showing you how to determine how many to put on the mat for later. You need to know this number for when we get back to it. When we have to figure out how many to put on the mat, we need to know how many will fit on the mat. Okay? But the reason I'm not going to do this right now is I need to put a hole. And if I did a hole, like a hole, see, look, right? If I put a hole in my tag, I'd have to put 21 holes in the tags. That could be very time consuming. I'd be here all day. So let's get back to that. We know we have 21 that we can put on the mat, but we're not putting 21 on the mat. We're only putting 1 on the mat because we got to put a hole in it. When we put the hole in it, then we can duplicate it and make 21 of them because we know that 21 will fit. So we're still back to that same concept of 1.5, right? 1.5 wide. This will be in the notes of the video, of course, as well, by 3.75. But we're only going to put 1. Knowing that we later on need to put 21, but we're only putting 1 for now, right? So that's the number we need. And so now there's our tag, okay? So let's talk about putting the hole in the tag. We need to add a shape for the hole. We need to click add, and the hole is going to be just a circle. So you're going to go back to your shapes and you're going to add a circle. Find just a circle, round circle. Where is it? Let's draw it down here a little bit. Here you go. BA-A045. Okay, so you're going to just add a circle. And I like to make my circles really small because it makes the ribbon stay in there better. I'm going to go and keep it's in proportion. I'm going to make it just 1/5 of an inch, 0.20. Now I did use some pretty thick ribbon on some of my projects and it still worked with a 0.20. Don't go any smaller with this ribbon because you're trying to get it through 5. Well, in this case, I'm making it go through all 5 colors. So I need it to be that size hole. Okay, this is what the hole looks like, 0.2. Okay, so there we go. We put a hole. So now, where'd it go? It's all the way up there. Okay, it's all the way up there. So we need to get it close by. It's kind of hard. We can just zoom. I got to zoom in here. There it is. It's selected, but let me zoom in and get the hole to go closer. Whoa, come on. I can't even get it with my stylus. That's okay. You know what we'll do? We'll just select it and make it. We're going to go into selection. Go here to selection. Select everything on the screen. Right? And what we're going to do is make this a line. We're going to make it a line into the center of that tag. Okay? So we're going to click on the object align. We've selected everything. We're going to make this align to the center. Okay? We'll do it again later just to show you, but I needed to get that away from the side because it wasn't letting me select it. And I need these to be, it's not letting me select it. I don't know why. There it goes. See, I just needed it to be closer just to get it away from the top corner. It wasn't letting me select it over there. Come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. That's what I want. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm moving I got it away from the side. Now I'm just moving it in there. We're going to do that. We're going to do that one more time. So you see where I'm putting it? I'm putting it right about there, kind of close to the top. This is what I want. I want the hole to be there. So I'm going to select both objects and I'm going to align them to the center of each other, relative to the center. Okay? So we're going to get all the objects. We're going to select them. This is the selection tool. This is both of these are selection tools. This selects everything on the mat. This makes an area. This selects just an area. So we want everything on the mat. We'll click OK. We go into this object align. Right? That's object align. And it's the one with the 4 arrows going different ways. We go up to here to the alignment and we want them to be aligned horizontally. We want this circle to be exactly in the center of this tag. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Perfect. So we have it exactly the way I want it. That's where I want the hole to be. That's the hole. So the problem is, it's not a problem, but if I try to move this tag right now, the hole is going to stay where it's at. Then I'll move the tag and the hole will not be part, they won't be one object. So what you need to do right now, while they're both selected, while they're red, is you need to go to Object Edit and use the group. Do not mistake the group for the weld. The group one is the one with the shapes in a box. The circle and triangle in a box. This is group. That means you're grouping these objects so they're one, and you can move them around as one object. If you would have hit the weld, your poor little circle that you just spent time making, the hole in your tag would have disappeared because it would have welded into the shape. So don't hit weld. You want to actually keep the hole, but you want these to be one object. All right, so now I hope your brains are not too full, because now we're going to do some more fun stuff. And okay, so we've answered Pam's question, and then we left off there. And then we said hello to a few more. And I don't know if I said hello to Wilma, and hello Melissa, Darlene, Joanne, and Sandra. All right, here we go. We know we can fit 21 on the mat, right? Because we did that little test earlier with the pattern interval to determine how many we could fit on the mat. So now let's use what's called duplicate. We're in the settings. We're going to go to duplicate. How many? Exactly 21. We're going to put 21. I wonder if I just needed to add 21 more or put 21 total. Okay, we're going to find out right now. All right, so what we want to do is, we know we can put 21 on the mat, but it's a hot mess, right? Because we didn't put them all on there at once, but we couldn't put them all there on there once because we needed to add that hole. So I hope you're following me. So I could sit there and try to do this alignment like this, and it would take me forever. So instead, I'm going to use what's called AutoLayout. I'm going to take these 21 objects and lay them out. And if I have an extra one, I will have to delete one, because I'm only allowed to have 21, because that's exactly how many will fit on the mat. So we're going to click OK. And what we need to do is, what's AutoLayout is go into this, you just click OK. And it's the one with, it's this one with all the shapes. So it looks very similar to group. So remember before the group looked like this? It had a triangle and a square inside or a triangle and a circle inside a square. This one has a couple little pentagons. That's called the AutoLayout feature. This AutoLayout feature, the first one's going to take all these tags and put them any which way they need to go in the best way possible to fit on the mat. This one's going to take them all and make them either go right side up or upside down. And this one's going to make them all go facing the same way, upright. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use the first one and let it figure out. I always like to use the first option because let it figure out the AutoLayout. Okay? Is that magical or what? Is that the best thing in the world or what? You can't do this in the Canvas Workspace software. There is no AutoLayout feature. You have to do all the stuff I taught you in the classes, like, you know, select all the objects, align them to the right, align them to the center, align them to the left, group them, right? This is like so much better than doing all that alignment. This is like the best feature of this machine, I think. It's called AutoLayout. And what would even be better is if I group these all so that they stay as one giant object, all 21 tags. Why? There's a reason why on my machine. I know, Nancy, isn't this awesome? I love it too. All right. You want to group them because my machine gives me trouble. Okay? The top left corner gives me trouble. The top right corner does not give me trouble. Hi, Yvonne and Deborah. All right. I want to make these all one. So we're going to click on Edit. We're going to select them all. We're going to use the subject Select Them All. And I want to make them one big group so that I can move them away from that corner. So we're going to click OK. We're going to click on Object Edit. And we're going to use the group. Okay, we want it. Now I have one group of all 21 tags. Is that awesome or what? I can get rid of I don't have to cut in the top left corner anymore because I can move these over a little bit and get them away from that top left corner. I can even move them down a little bit. In fact, I'd have more luck down here than anywhere near the top, but I can kind of do that. I just don't like to think things to be near the top because I have a lot of trouble. So that's where I'm going to cut them. I would click OK. I would click OK. I would click OK. And I would say cut. Okay, and I would say cut. In between cuts, I would maybe do some things like maybe sharpen my blade. Okay, it's going to take 4 minutes to cut. You'd say start. We're going to stop it. We're not really going to do it. We're going to stop it. Let's stop, right? Quit cutting, blah, blah, blah. You just got done cutting. Magical. It's like a cooking show. Look, we cut them all 4 minutes later. Remember, you know, cooking shows where they have everything already done? That's what it looks like. You peel this off your mat, and you have your 21 tags. Okay, and so or however that, whatever, which way they went. Okay, so they went that way. Now I peeled this off. Now what I did is a couple little tricks along the way is I like to use painter's tape because, you know, I didn't want the paper to slip. There's a lot of cutting. I didn't want it to slip along the way. Another tip and trick is we used AutoBlade for this. This is SDX125, so it has AutoBlade technology. But if you're using a CM model, you're going to need to use a blade depth of 5 for ScanNCut cardstock. Okay. I'm not even going to go grab my other machine, but you need a blade depth of 5 for not ScanNCut cards. I mean, ScanNCut doesn't even make cardstock, or maybe they do, but I'm not talking about ScanNCut cardstock right now. I mean Stampin' Up cardstock. I don't mean ScanNCut cardstock. All right, so I also used some painter's tape. I told you about that. Couple more things about this is earlier. I just like to infuse lots of tips and tricks. I had some trouble earlier where one of my pieces got totally eaten, and I don't know if I can even show you the piece. So like this is what they're supposed to look like. I have all these beautiful pieces. They were doing fine. I've been cutting them for a couple of days now. I did the other in colors, right? I had all these great pieces, and then all of a sudden, it just started eating. I don't even know what happened. Oh, I threw the piece over near the die cutting. It started doing this. It started eating up my tags, right? Okay, and then it totally ate a whole piece of my pale papaya. It totally ate a whole piece of it, and started crushing them. And then like the holes it wasn't cutting through the holes all the way. The paper was slipping. My mat's sticky. That's why I left these on there on purpose to show you. So look, my mat's sticky. In fact, I saved these. I'm going to make little shaker cards, I think, out of these extra holes. I'm just saving them. See that? Can you hear that sound? My mat is sticky, see? So it wasn't that the mat wasn't sticky. It just started moving around. Things started moving around. And I have painter's tape, and I was holding it there. Listen to the mat. See, that's sticky. So I said, oh boy, I know it's time to change my blade. I just want to show you something. So I took this out, and I was even sharpening between cuts. This is my new blade. Okay, I was sharpening between cuts. I was taking my foil. I was cutting a lot of cardstock, as you can see, and I was using my foil, and I was sharpening my blade between cuts. Now this is my new blade. Look how, let me get my light so you can really see this one compared to the old blade I just changed. Let's put it on something that's bright. Here's the new annual catalog. Maybe that'll. Okay, and then this is the old blade. I put don't throw out your old blade holder. But I put a little piece of tape on it to let me know it's the old blade. I just put that there. There we go. Stop moving. And this is the old blade. It's dull now. That's why it started tearing up my paper. The top of it's not pointy anymore. It's like, you can see that it's dull compared to that one. You can actually see the tip of it broke off from overuse, from using it so much. Okay, they're exactly the same kind of blade and holder. But I saved this holder, even though I'm going to get rid of the blade. Before I get rid of the blade, I like to tape it up. But the holder I'm going to keep because maybe the springs go bad in this holder, or, you know, there's probably nothing wrong with the holder, but this is like, it's not even hurting me. This one like stabbed me, and I actually bled from touching that one earlier when I was accidentally touching it. This one's like dull now. It's like the top of it's like broken off, and it's like flat on top now because I used it so much. So it was time to change my blade. When it starts eating up your paper, you know that it's either your mat's not sticky and it's eating up your paper because your paper is slipping all over the place, or you know it's time to change your blade. In my case, I'd cut so much cardstock it was time to change my blade. All right, so you're saying to yourself, Self, what do you do with all this knowledge of making tags? You know, what can you do with these? Well, of course you can use them as gifts. Of course you can use them as bookmarks. So here's what we can do. So I made them in the 5 in colors. Okay, these are the new in colors. Catalog is still sealed. We can't show you the inside yet. But this is coming out May 4th, our new annual catalog. We have fresh freesia, right? Polished. Oh gosh, now we have to get it. Hold on. Polished pink, right? Evening evergreen, pale papaya, and soft succulent. Okay, these are the new in colors. Okay. So that's what I've been doing for years. I've been giving these out, you know, with catalogs or like as samples, right? So now you have the 5 in color ribbons. And if you've been watching my unboxings, there's your 5 in color ribbons. So look how fantastically, is that a word, fantastically? They go with the So you take one in color ribbon and you wrap your tags in them. Okay, so then I wanted to show you the ones I did from last year, and then we'll get back to these ones. So here's ones I did from this year. Wait, these are the ones I'm working on now. Okay, so I've just put a different color ribbon on them so you can see them here. Put them all next to each other. And this ones I put in the order of how they're listed in the catalog. You know, like I put Fresh Freesia first because it's listed in the catalog first. But look at those ribbons and how they coordinate. Okay, so that's those. Now I'll show you last year's. So here's last year's in colors are still good for another year. We have Magenta Madness, Misty Moonlight. Well, here, I got them already in ribbons. These are the piles. Look how well these go together. And these are in my piles. So these are the ones I'm working on. Okay, now look at these with the ribbons that go with them. Here are the 5 ribbons. So last year, the in-color ribbons that came out were a set of sort of fabric ribbons. I don't like them as much as these ribbons. We still have these right now available, like as of like right now. But these are the new ribbons that are going to be available May 4th for the in color. So we always get a set of ribbons to go with in color. I like the organza sort of see-through ones. I'm going to show you why, because I'm going to show you my cards in a minute. But look how well these colors go together. And look how well those ribbons go with the colors. So you got Cinnamon Cider. Good, like I said, good for another year. I'm not sad about the colors leaving, except for maybe Pretty Peacock. There's 5 colors that are retiring soon. And like I like all these colors kind of better. Well, mostly better than the ones retiring. But although I'm going to miss a couple retiring colors. So we got Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Bumblebee, Magenta Madness, and Misty Moonlight. Okay, so maybe you have another kind of business where you have to give samples or swatches, or even you just want to, maybe you're not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, or you don't want to, maybe you're not like into doing the whole swatch thing. Just think of what you can do with the tags themselves that coordinate. Inspirational stamping messages to people. You can make fun bookmarks and tags. So anybody can use tags. You don't have to be a demonstrator to use tags to show your customers, but that's just what I use them for. All right, but there's more. Of course, there's more. So these are, these, by the way, if you want labels, there's a link in the description on where you can digital download. I sell these labels, and I always include, because there's 60, this is Avery 5160, that 30 per page, but I always include a few of the retired, well, where are they at? Here are the ones that are leaving. These are retiring colors, the Cocoa Rose. I include them because they fit on the label, see? But you also get pages of just in-color labels. These are the 5 colors retiring. Most people still have those. And then it starts with after those 5, these are in colors. Then it goes into the Bright collection, the Rich Regal collection, the Basics collection, the Soft Subtles collection, and a couple that you can color. And then I give you all 68 swatches, even the retired swatches. I give you all the swatches I made using the hexadecimal codes. All right, so anyway, back to this. I'm going to start this in color club this year, and I thought, well, they're going to get something special. Okay, I'm going to do something special to the tags, and I told you I'd have something special at the end of my tutorial. So I said, wouldn't it be really cool to take the swatches for those that are in my in color club? They're going to be like collecting all the colors over like a 5-month period. That's what the club is going to be. It's like a way of, it's for my customers, like a way to collect all the colors. And so I embossed them with the label on it. It just fused right into there. I was so happy with how these came out. So I'm going to show you how that works, and then I'll show you a finished one of them. So let's put the embossing machine right up here. The mini embossing machine. I'm going to show you how this works, how easy it is to do this to your tags. I have 2 that are not embossed, and they are called the Evening Evergreen. And this is the, well, I saved the wrapper. Let's see. It's called, hold on. Nope, wrong wrapper. Something about, here it is. Greenery embossing folders. These are, out of all the embossing folders I use, this is the only mini one. Not the only mini one. We have several mini ones, but of the ones I used, this is the greenery pack. So I thought this would look really good with the Evening Evergreen. So let's put the mini machine right here on top of my ScanNCut. Only because my camera's right here, and my husband had to tape my camera. Or I can maybe move this back a little. My husband had to tape it because my tripod broke again, and he like literally taped it with tape, so I can't move my camera that much. He used like a roll of packing tape. Here, let's get rid of this. I'm going to show you how to save that template maybe at the end. We just got to make some room here to do this embossing for a moment. All right, so we're going to open this up. I'm going to move the ScanNCut out of the way. This is the mini the mini embossing machine, super cute. We're going to take our cute little tags we made, and we're going to use the little cheat sheet that came with the machine. It says place, when you want to emboss, it tells you what plates to use. It tells you that you have an embossing folder, and it says place it hinge first. See, this is hinge first. That's hinge first into the machine. And it says use plate number 1. There's plate number 1. And then it says put the embossing folder. So that's the embossing folder. Then it says put plate number 3 on top. And that's it. So that's how we do it. So we're going to put these little guys in there. And this just really adds to the tags, I think. It just makes the tags look so much cooler when they're embossed. Okay. And plus, that's just more samples to share of what things look like. I think it's hard to understand what the embossing looks like until you see the finished product. Okay, so tell me that doesn't take this tag to the next level. Or your bookmark. Remember, maybe you're not doing this tags, like you're just using these for bookmarks. Pretty cool, right? So I'll show you how that looks all together, and then we'll move this little machine. Bring my machine back. So I did a bunch of those. I did about 6 of those. And here's what they look like using 5 different embossing folders. Okay, starting with, I embossed the pale papaya with the painted texture 3D embossing folder. So that's the painted texture 3D. Pretty cool, right? Then I did the soft succulent with the tasteful textile embossing folder. Pretty cool. Soft succulent, tasteful textile. Then I did the polished pink using the brick and mortar 3D embossing folder, because I thought the pink looked cool with the bricks. So the bricks. Then I did the fresh freesia with the hammered metal 3D embossing folder. These embossing folders don't fit in the mini machine. They fit in my bigger machine. And then the evening evergreen, you saw that was the greenery embossing folder. And the reason I demonstrated that one is because it's the only one that fit in the mini machine, so I could put it up on the table because of the room I have. So that's what they look like embossed. And that makes it more fun. And then I used this other ribbon. Instead of the in color ribbon for that one, I used this new ribbon called the pale papaya and white ribbon. And I did a bunch of those. All right, so you have all this, we've done all this work, and now you have a template, and I want to show you how to save your template on your Scan and Cut. And then I'll get back into a couple in color projects, and then we'll wrap things up here. So we have this. You should see my table right now. Try not to knock everything off the table. All righty, here we go. We have, oh, yeah, don't be bleeding. I see Polly came in. Don't be bleeding on your cards. I actually did. I bled when I changed my blade earlier. Look, I grabbed a Q-tip instead of my stylus. That's pretty funny. I know there's a stylus somewhere. Q-tip's not going to help me. So we have our template. And we have some other ones that come in and said, I'm saying hello to those guys. Yogi Caspi, I love that name. Glasgow, Scotland. Oh, I've actually been to Scotland. What a beautiful country. The whole UK is all beautiful. I should say Scotland, England, Ireland. All right, the greenery is unbelievable. So here we are. We're going. Let's kick back. Okay, not kick back. Let's kick back in Ireland and Scotland. I mean, all right. We're going back. We're going to go back, and we're here to this place where you see save. Okay, so you want to click the save button. So it's asking you where you want to save. You want to save it to your machine, to the Canvas workspace, or with the USB stick. So on the USB stick. We'll just save it to our machine. And it says there's a group pattern, and it cannot be ungrouped. That's fine. We want this big blob of tags because we're going to use 12 by 12 paper. I'll show you how to change it if you don't have 12 by 12 paper in a minute. But let's say I always want to use 12 by 12 cardstock for this. That's the whole point of making 21 tags at once. So I want it to be grouped. It's saying there's not enough available memory. I have to delete something. I have so much on here, but you get the idea. Let's see what I can delete. Here, I don't remember what that is, so we're going to delete that. As long as I delete one, I can save the other one. Let's go back. Now, I should have enough room to save it to my machine. Okay, so now you get the next day you go to make more tags like I've been doing. I've been making these for a few days now since I got my cardstock, my 12 by 12 cardstock. So you go back to the beginning and you come back to your machine, you turn it on, you're like, wow, I want to make some more tags. I want to make some more bookmarks or whatever you're making. Doesn't matter because this tutorial is applicable to any projects you might be making, right? So you're making something and you saved your template. You're going to retrieve your data. So you turn on your machine, you're going to click Retrieve Data, and you're going to retrieve it from the machine, and you're going to jump down to the last page. There it is. I'm going to go to the last page, and there's my there's the one that we just made. That's the one I saved earlier. So there it is. You retrieve it, you cut some more, and you get the idea. And you can just keep cutting away, making all your little swatches and all your little things. Our 12 by 12 cardstock only comes in colors, and then the Brights collection and the other collections. In other words, like you can't just get like, let me find a label for, like you can't just get a pack of, let me find this here, Daffodil Delight example, right? You can't get a pack of Daffodil Delight in 12 by 12 because we don't sell it like that, but we do sell a pack of like Brights in 12 by 12. When you get like a little bit of each one, maybe one or two, I forget, right? In the Brights. But in these ones, in this case, you can get a pack of 12 by 12 and you get more of them because they're in colors. So you can get like for this one, the 12 by 12. Now it's not just for, so I don't really do scrapbooking, but I guess that's why they make 12 by 12 is for scrapbookers, but I'm making it for, I'm using it for ScanNCut. You get 4 of each. Okay, so you get 4 of each. And one of my poor papayas got shredded. And one of these got shredded. But anyway, shredded meaning I'll cut up on my old blade. But now I got a new blade, so I'm okay. All right, we're wrapping things up. We talked about saving. I always have to do one more thing about the ScanNCut because maybe you're like, oh gosh, she just did all that. I don't have a 12 by 12 piece of paper. I can't do her tutorial. Oh, baloney, you can do my tutorial with any kind of paper. So click over here. And what you want to do is if you don't have 12 by 12 paper, you do the exact same tutorial I just taught you. But instead, you're not going to have as many because you're going to change your cutting area to what you do have. So go to your cut area. Do you see where I just did that? In the settings. And you're going to change your cut area to whatever size paper you have. Maybe you have an 8.5 by 11 paper. 8.5 by 11 inches. Maybe, something like here, 11 inches. It would be, you'd have to make it a little bit less. If it's 11 inches, you can't go quite 11 inches. And if it's 8.5, you can only go like a little bit less than 8.5 because you can never. So that would be like an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. You would change you would do everything I just showed you, but that's the area you'd work with. So that's how many tags you can fit in your area. I hope that makes sense. I'm going back to 12 by 12. So you can do what I did. You just can't fit as many tags. All right. So we've talked about saving and retrieving the data. And now let's talk about a couple more things with the in colors, which are totally awesome. So I've been doing a few unboxings lately. I did an unboxing where I unboxed the blends. I did an unboxing where I unboxed the inks and the ribbons. And I had the markers at some point. I had the cardstock. So I had a bunch of other products. So we'll just start by the last video I just did. So a couple days ago, was it yesterday? It was probably just yesterday at the same time. Maybe, I don't know when it was. Maybe it was 2 days ago. But we did stamping with the new stamp colors, the stamping pads. And I showed you how to use the different stamp sets and the ink colors together. I'm just trying to find them. We have it was called, well, I guess it's already put away, Butterfly Gala. I used the butterfly from the Butterfly Gala, and that's retiring stamp set. And I used the new ink color jewels, and this is how I used the ribbon on these cards. And I like how the ribbon's see-through, so my card background you can see through the ribbon to the card background that I stamped. Okay, then we did this one. We did this one with the lovely U stamp set. I did this all live, by the way, so if you saw it, I said, I'm going to put some ribbons on the cards. Well, this is the follow-up where I didn't have anything to mount them on, but now since then I've mounted these on a piece of polished pink and a piece of fresh freesia and a piece of evening evergreen. So now they're all finished. The cards are finished, and I put the ribbons on them. So now you get to see what they look like all finished. Okay, these are the ink colors stamped. And then this one is my favorite. My favorites are always the whimsical things. And we'll probably do some ScanNCut work with this guy. Party Puffins, right? Party Puffins. I did the ink color Party Puffins. And this is the evening evergreen, and that's the follow-up by putting the ribbon on it and some gems. And so that's what those look like, and you get to see those. It says, Lorna says she lost me. I hope you're not. I hope my camera isn't buffering. I hope it's not lost me because I hope the bandwidth is okay. These I'm going to be giving away, and I've already given some away, but these are the using the blends. Okay, so this is the Dandy laser cut paper, coloring with the blends. This is Free as a Bird, coloring with the blends. Free as a Bird. This is Snailed It. Okay, this is coloring with the blends using Snailed It. And I've already put these in the cellophane bags. Oh, good, Pamela. I'm glad it's not my internet this time because it usually is my internet. Okay, so those were Snailed It. And then this was just in colors. This wasn't coloring with in colors. This was just when I used this other paper called Petal Pansy. And then I'm just showing you some things I made recently with some unboxings. Just some projects I made recently. These were using the hand-penned designer series paper, hand-penned designer series paper. The only thing with these were the in colors were these flowers. The rest of these are not in colors, although that's in color from before. So anyway, those are some projects I've been making during my unboxings. So I hope you'll check out those unboxings. And I hope you'll check out the labels on my site, the new In Color Club, if you're interested in collecting collecting ink over a 5-month period, meaning you'll be able to collect ribbons and blends and markers and ink pads and re-inkers. Okay, you'll be able to collect all that stuff over a 5-month period. But if you just want to get it all when the catalog starts, then don't join a club, because then you're kind of, you don't want to join the club if you want to get all the inks right away. This is if you want to do it gradually over time. Okay, another thing I'm offering is a cardstock share. So this is an example. I'll probably do a whole video on that in my channel, but like an example of, you'll get a piece of each cardstock. Okay, that's the only thing that's going to be ready soon. The other shares, designer series paper shares, I'll be offering, and deluxe designer series paper shares, etc. But those are going to be like the middle of May. I can't really even send those out yet. But these, it's like you order them. I order more cardstock. I divide it up. I send it to you. And there's an early bird special. Okay, so there's different, and I have other colors, and I'll do a video on that later when I get closer to May 4th catalog launch, because I'll be doing all kinds of shares. Cardstock share, designer series paper share, and a deluxe designer series paper share with some embellishments. All right, well, thank you all for joining me. It was really fun to show you how I make my tags, and now you can see what I'm up to. And how they really come to life, your tags, when you emboss them. I think they really come to life even more. But just seeing the colors and the names of the colors really helps people learn what colors they are. And then they also get to see how they go together. And you can take the ribbon off and say, oh, how will these two colors look together? And you can lay them next to each other, just like you could if you're trying to put paint on your wall at your house or something when you bring swatches home from the hardware store, right? This is a nice thing to do, is combine colors and see how well they go together. So I really like working with colors because of that reason. And colors make me happy. These colors make me happy. Some colors not so much. Well, congratulations, Elaine, on getting a new ScanNCut. I don't know why the Mango Melody alcohol markers are retiring, Deborah, but I guess you better get an extra set while you can. I'm going to be doing that then, because I forgot about that. One of my team members told me about the Mango Melody. There's not enough yellows, in my opinion. Not enough yellow colors, because they never made a bumblebee marker. They never made a bumblebee blend, I don't think. Did they make a bumblebee blend? No, and they didn't make a crushed curry blend before. So I've been working with this Daffodil Delight, and I know they made a pineapple one, but anyway, pineapple punch. So that's all for now. This is the Paper Chef, and if you have any more questions, I'll just write them in the video description and I'll find them later. Thank you all for coming today, and it was fun doing a live ScanNCut and my camera not falling apart. Bye for now. This is the Paper Chef.